and welcome to Joseph's Model Railway and Toy Room. Thank you so much for joining me. As always, you don't need to follow, like or subscribe. I just put the videos out there where I can and have a jolly good time doing so. Well, the sun is up. We better get cracking on the next one. And today's video is something extra special. It might seem like the most simplistic of little things to do, but I know exactly what I'm trying to chase in parts of this model, and we need to get started. And in today's video, we're going to talk about building two signs. I know we need a lot more than just two signs on this layout, and that will all happen. But these two in particular need to be just as I remember seeing them. And now, thanks to these tremendous photos that you can see here, this is what we're basically trying to chase. I need the pre-automated and pre-lit railway crossing roadway sign that you would find on a quiet country road, particularly the dirt ones where these were often found. The location of where this is on my layout, depending on the area you want to run your train, will either see that this seems very appropriate and or there will be a meeting with the rail network saying, you know what, we're coming into the 80s, into the late 90s. I think it's time we put automated boom gates in. And as a result, that might be something we see later on in the track with some utility vehicles sitting there. And I may not actually wire one up, but we'll sort of have one sitting there that looks like they're just about to replace it. I've mentioned that once before. We're going to be doing with some of the signals, where most of them are the traditional, the illuminated green and red ones we'll see. But I still hope to have just a few of the vintage styled semaphore ones on the layout, which are still in use but transitioning away from being used. Again, could be a utility or line side workers there starting to dismantle and getting ready to replace. I like the idea of doing this because it means the whole layout can keep telling stories over time. It's not just a matter of building it and saying it's all finished. As anyone that enjoys this hobby will know, you are never finished. It's a really quick one today, so let's get stuck into it and see what we can come up with. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now let's have a quick chat about how we've constructed these particular signs. Now, we're not going to see them in their final resting place. That will be to do with a feature video I'm talking about, this custom railway crossing that I have been building, and that's going to come to light in a couple of videos' time. But let's just have a quick talk about what I've done to create these particular signs. First of all, these railway crossing signs are from this particular kit. First, I'm going to start with the railway crossing signs. And if we just jump over here to the original picture that was giving me the inspiration of what I needed, you will notice that the actual signpost itself, unlike other signposts, has in fact made use of an actual steel rail. And of course, that is exactly what I've used in this application. Let's just jump back to that photo again, and you'll notice the actual signposts themselves have been mounted on the thinnest part of the track. Now, I did manage to achieve that, but I will just point this out now and say that you will need an extra bit of adhesive to actually achieve that to stick evenly on there. I think the realism will look fantastic, but it is a bit of mucking around to get it sitting like that. I didn't beat around the bush, and I've just used the Woodland Scenics Rusty Rail marker, of which we can just run along and push the tip down, and it gives us that beautiful rusty look to the rail. I don't have an airbrush. I know you're going to get a better result fiddling around and doing things like that, or using some sort of a red rust type of paint. That'll look just fantastic. Again, I just purchased some pre-done decals that fit the application. Again, these are actually commonly seen here in Australia, and I know my layout sort of bounces from the UK to Australia in several different ways, but I think it's just something familiar that I'm used to seeing with these particular signs, and that's what I've gone for, and I'm going to continue to use on the layout. It just feels good, so why not stick with that? The process for making these particular signs is exceptionally simple, but let me just whip through the process that I did. It's very simple. The first thing, to actually create the signposts themselves, I use this 1mm polystyrene rod material, and I've got some here. There's really not much to it. It's nice and thin, and I really, for all the signs I've just created here, I only needed about 2 lengths of this. What I did, of course, I then took some mica silver Tamiya spray paint. Any silver would do, to tell you the truth, but something with a matte finish is sometimes better because it just gave that more of a galvanized look to the actual posts themselves. I then just cut the decal out as required, and simply just glued it on the back. Once I was happy with that, just applied a little bit of grey just around it to make it look real. And the final touch I did just do was take a little bit of some sort of a model wash or just something a little bit grey that just took a little bit of the shine off. I still want the signs to look in reasonable condition, that they don't actually need replacing other than the old school railway ones themselves. But as you can see, there's just a little bit of detail and just a little bit of realness to it. Once all my signs had been created, it was a simple matter of just taking one of these fixative spray type of materials. This is just the cheap no-name brand you can pick up from the Officeworks store here in Australia. There are lots of different ones. They all much do the same thing. And this is probably an important process that often you'll build your sign and say, they look perfect, let's put them on. But let me tell you why this is an important step. What you want to do is come along, just give it a light spray, leave it for an hour, light spray. Once it's done, turn all the signs around the other way and repeat the process. Light spray, light spray. It's going to keep everything fixed in nice and tight. But most importantly, over the years, as the dust may settle, it's going to be a breeze to clean off. Just think of it like putting a non-stick coating on all of your stuff. It's a wonderful product and it's worth that extra time. If we just come in on this particular sign, you'll notice we had a little bit of a whoopsie daisy. As I was just giving it a bit of weathering where it says crossing, I accidentally washed away the ing. So what I just did was try and achieve a little bit of a rusty look, if you like, there. And as you would see in a sign that's been bumped by a truck or a trailer or something, and it's just weathered over time. It's slightly bent back as we see on some, and I think I'm going to leave it like that. Somehow it just seems just right. That red warning triangle there, I didn't have all my Tamiya paints, which I have actually just ordered and we should see probably in the early new year. So once again, I just took some of that kids water-based paint, mixed up a little bit of red and orange till I was happy with the color that we got. And I think that doesn't look too bad at all. Well, ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, thank you so much for watching. It is just a short one at the moment talking about these signposts. We're going to get cracking and start getting some things installed on that main crossing, and we shouldn't be too far away from having a quick chat about building the car park. And even though I've built the feature road section I'm looking to do, it's sort of in a time-lapse video you will see in an upcoming video. But what I'll do with the car park is I'm actually going to take a moment and step you through how I actually use this particular product and how we're going to get that beautiful road surface with its majestic asphalt on it. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe. We'll see you in the next one. Let this truly be a sign to all your model railway success in making signs. Stay safe. Toodles!